Hey there, Dina Falconi, herbalist, educator, author of Foraging and Feasting and Earthly Bodies and Heavenly Hair. What's happening in the landscape right now that I'm excited for you to learn is Lactuca canadensis in bloom. We've created a video for you about Lactuca canadensis, or wild lettuce, in Basal rosette, but right now you're getting to meet it in its full bloom glory. What's amazing about this plant? Let's just have a little quick review, or perhaps new information for you, which is that this is an amazing wild edible. This is a wild lettuce that grows freely. It is native of the United States, of Eastern North America actually, and it is food. So whenever you see this plant, it's time to celebrate it. And the Basal rosette we know is edible, but it's also edible as it grows up. And all the tender parts that you like, that are tasty to you, are edible. So we can be eating, these are called aerial leaves. We can be eating the flowering tops. We can be eating this stem, this central stem, as long as it is tender enough for us to eat. In a moment, I'll also show you something else about foraging for this and how to help create more abundance. But for now, let's also just discuss a little bit more. It's got a hearty lettuce-like flavor with a very slight bitterness. It does have cousins, other Lactuca species, that are much more bitter and are also more therapeutic. This is gently therapeutic. It's considered a relaxant, a very gentle relaxant, or Nervine. It is not a strong sleep inducer like some of its relatives. It's also pain relieving, but in a very mild sense. So I think of this as food for the nerves, food that is delicious for us to eat, that is healing, that's also a gentle Nervine. And what else to say about this plant? Where are you going to find it in terms of its habitat? So you can see that it's part shade where I am. The soil here is rich, but it's well drained, so it likes that situation. It will grow in full sun, part shade, edges of woodlands, woodland clearings, gardens, disturbed soil, roadsides. Again, Eastern North American native, hardiness zones 3 to 10. So let's have you come up to this other one that I cut so that you can see what's going on. Here we have two Lactuca canadensis that I actually harvested a few weeks ago. You can see the harvest spot right there. And when you harvest, by the way, a few weeks ago, this plant wasn't flowering and it was just luscious top growth there, and all of that was delicious to put in the salad or to put in soup or sautés. But so here we are, when we cut that, what happens is the plant is encouraged to shoot up more food. So we have all of these new shoots, and this becomes delicious foraging right now. Nice tender new growth here. So wherever it's tender, we can cut. Our fingers can kind of tell us, oh, that's nice and tender. Lactuca canadensis has yellow blooms, these tiny little flowers. They're not so tiny, but they're quite small. They're composite flowers. So you want to always notice those when it is in bloom. Let's gather different parts of the plant, different leaves from different parts of its growth, so you can really see the leaf morphology. So we'll pluck a leaf from down below, which is also considered food if it's tasty to you. They're a little tougher. And then we will move up the stalk and get a leaf from here. And then we'll get a leaf really from the way top. And we'll also pluck the flower cluster. So you can have a good look at that one more time. We'll lay these all out for you. I'm going to show you a couple of other clues. Come on over. Notice how the leaves attach to the main stem. They are sessile, they're stalkless, they do not have a petiole, and they clasp. They gently hug the stalk. Another clue you always want to see when you cut is that it has latex. It starts to bleed a white, this is an off-white latex, and It is hollow. Hollow main stem. Here's some identifying features for you and how the leaf morphs. So here we have the leaf from the lower part of the plant, and you can see these nice lobes. And then when it moves up the plant, the lobes start to get, the leaf obviously shrinks, and also the lobing is less. And then when you go further up the plant, we lose a lot of the lobe, sometimes no lobe at all. So there's quite a lot of leaf variation. And then here we have the whole flowering top part of the plant. And here we've pulled this sprig off, and then you can see these beautiful little Asteraceae family composite flowers right there, nice little yellow. And let's just discuss as well that all the parts that are tender for you to chew, tender enough, they're all food. And so that includes, you could be eating all of these flower heads, even this tender stalk part. If it's tender, you can chew that, you can eat that. And what else? Just let's flip the leaf over always for you just to see the underside, which has more of a white coating and a very prominent mid vein here. And when we feel it, it's a little bit rough, but there are no prickers. It's not prickly, it's just a little bit hairy and a little bit rough. So you want to make sure that's happening. Okay, so let's do a quick review. We have a wild food that is also a nervous system medicine in a very gentle way. So we have something that we can eat in the salad bowl, or we can put into soups or stews or sautés, and we can eat the plant whenever it is tender enough for us to chew. So we don't want it when it's any, when the toughness has set into any of the stalks, or if the leaves seem just too tough, then we don't eat them either. But so at this stage, we have this flowering top, and all of these parts, all of this is edible, and also the leaves that are tender enough. And what else to say? I encourage you to go find this ancient lettuce, this mild nervous system food, and bring it into your life. It is flowering right now in its beautiful yellow moment, so do try to find it. But don't forget, if you find it in basil rosette, check our other video, which is about how to key it out in its basil rosette, and it is also beautiful food at that stage as well. So if you've enjoyed this and you'd like more, check out my online course, Wild Food Health Boosters and Herbal Remedies, at wildfoodhealthboosters.com. See you next time.